How divorce destroys men financially. Imagine you're that guy who's worked hard, built a life, maybe a family. You thought you have gotten everything you have ever dreamed of, only to have it all ripped apart in an instant. Not just emotionally, but financially. Your bank account's drained, your future's on hold, and every month, you're writing checks to a system that feels like it's out to crush you more. Welcome to the brutal reality of divorce for men in 2025. Is divorce a fair way to end a marriage, or a machine designed to destroy men's financial lives? In this video, we're exposing the dark truth: how divorce can leave men broken, and fighting for scraps. From alimony nightmares to child support traps, we're diving into real stories, shocking stats, and the system's hidden gears. This is how divorce destroys men financially, and trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Divorce isn't just a breakup, it's a financial wrecking ball for millions of men. In the US, over 800,000 divorces happen yearly, and men often bear the brunt of the fallout. Alimony, child support, legal fees, and asset splits can wipe out savings, retirement plans, even dreams. But is this just bad luck, or is the system stacked against men? We're going to unpack the divorce industry, stories from guys who've been through the grinder, and ask, why does divorce hit men so hard? Buckle up, because this is raw, real, and packed with truths you won't hear on mainstream news. James, a 42-year-old mechanic from Ohio, thought he'd built a solid life. Married for 15 years, 2 kids, a modest house, and a steady job. Then his wife filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. James didn't see it coming. What hit harder? The financial devastation. The court ordered him to pay $2,000 a month in alimony and $1,500 in child support, over 60% of his take-home pay. Legal fees piled up to $25,000, forcing him to sell his truck and dip into his 401k last resolve funds. "I'm working 70 hours a week just to live in a one-bedroom apartment," James shared on X. "Divorce didn't just end my marriage, it ended my future." James's story isn't unique. In the US, men pay alimony in about 80% of cases where it's awarded. What about child support? Men are the payers in nearly 90% of cases. The average divorce costs $15,000 to $30,000 in legal fees alone, and that's for simple cases. Add an asset division, where men often lose half or more of their savings, homes, or businesses, and it's no wonder guys feel like they're being fleeced. The divorce industry, worth $50 billion annually, thrives on these battles, with lawyers, courts, and experts cashing in while men like James are left scrambling. Why does it hit so hard? The system's roots are in a different era. Back in the 1950s, when women rarely worked outside the home, alimony and asset splits were meant to protect them from poverty. But in 2025, with dual-income households common, men argue the system hasn't caught up. Judges still award hefty alimony based on lifestyle or need, even when ex-wives earn as much or more. And child support? It's often calculated on income, not actual costs, leaving men like James feeling like ATMs for their ex's new life. But it's not just the payments. Legal fees are a black hole. Lawyers charge $200 to $1,000 an hour, and the longer the fight, the bigger their payday. Contested divorces, especially over alimony or custody, can drag on for years, costing $50,000 or more. One ex-user summed it up. His lawyer billed him $10,000 to argue over a $500 coffee table. Divorce is a racket. Michael, a 50-year-old salesman from Florida, thought his divorce was the end of his struggles. Married for 20 years, he and his wife split amicably, or so he thought. Then the court hit him with permanent alimony, $4,000 a month until his ex remarries or one of them dies. Michael's ex had a part-time job and a college degree, but the judge ruled she was accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Now Michael's working 2 jobs, living in a rented room, and staring down decades of payments. "I'm 50, he said in an interview. "I'll never retire." This isn't support, it's punishment. Alimony's the heart of financial destruction for many men. In states like Florida, pre-2023 reforms, or California, permanent alimony is still a thing, tying men to payments for life. Even in states with caps, like Texas, where alimony is limited to 7 years, the amounts can be crushing, up to 20% of a man's income. A 2024 study from the American Bar Association found that men paying alimony report higher financial stress than any other divorce-related cost, with 60% saying it ruined their lives. Why is alimony so brutal? It's vague. Judges decide based on subjective factors: length of marriage, earning potential, standard of living. This opens the door to endless arguments, with lawyers happily billing for every hearing. And modifications? Good luck. If a man loses his job or takes a pay cut, he has to prove it wasn't voluntary to lower payments. One guy, David, a 45-year-old engineer from New York, lost his job during a 2025 recession. His ex's lawyer argued he was underemployed on purpose, and the court refused to reduce his $3,000 monthly alimony. David's now in debt, barely scraping by. Chris, a 39-year-old construction worker from Texas, loves his 2 daughters more than anything. After his divorce, he fought for shared custody, hoping to split time and costs with his ex. But the court gave his ex primary custody, ordering Chris to pay $2,200 a month in child support, half his income. He sees his girls every other weekend, but the payments leave him couch surfing with friends. "I'm paying for their life," Chris said, "but I'm barely in it." How's that fair? Child support's another financial gut punch for men. In the US, men pay child support in 88% of cases, per 2023 Department of Health and Human Services data. The amounts are based on income, not actual costs, so high earners get hit hardest. A 2024 study found the average child support payment is $1,000 a month, but for men in higher tax brackets, it can top $5,000. And here's the kicker: there's often little oversight on how the money's spent. Chris heard his ex use the funds for a new car, while he couldn't afford school supplies for their visits. Custody battles make it worse. Men get primary custody in only 20% of cases, even when they fight for it. Courts often favor mothers, citing stability for the kids, leaving dads like Chris on the hook for big payments with limited time. Fighting for more custody costs thousands. Custody evaluators charge $5,000 to $20,000, and there's no guarantee of winning. The system's rigged to keep men paying, not parenting. Tom, a 47-year-old small business owner from California, thought he could handle his divorce without breaking the bank. He hired a lawyer for $5,000 up front, expecting a quick settlement. 2 years later, his bill was $60,000. Why? His ex's attorney dragged out every issue: alimony, the house, even their dog. Every email, every call, every court date was another $500, and he had to sell his business to pay for it. Divorce didn't just destroy him financially, it took his livelihood. Legal fees are the silent killer in divorce. The average contested divorce costs $20,000 per person, but for men fighting alimony or custody, it can soar past $100,000. Lawyers bill by the hour, so the more they stoke conflict, the more they earn. Some even encourage clients to fight over petty details, knowing it'll pad the bill. A 2024 survey by the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers found 70% of divorce attorneys admit they've seen cases prolonged unnecessarily for profit. Courts don't help. Filing fees run $300 to $500, and every motion, say, to modify alimony, adds another $100 to $200. If you need a forensic accountant to prove your ex is hiding assets, that's $200 to $500 an hour. The system's a meat grinder, chewing up men's finances while lawyers and experts walk away richer. One ex-user put it bluntly: divorce is a business, and men are the product. We've seen how divorce can shred a man's finances. Alimony that never ends, child support that feels like a second mortgage, and legal fees that could buy a car. But the damage goes deeper than dollars. Divorce can break a man's spirit, his hope, his sense of self. In this next part, we're diving into the psychological carnage, the societal biases that stack the deck against men, the celebrity divorces that make it all seem like a game, and the fight to fix a system that's bleeding guys dry. The stories we're about to hear hit hard, and they'll make you question everything. Let's go. Daniel, a 44-year-old teacher from Colorado, used to be the guy who lit up a room. Married for 12 years, he thought he'd built a stable life. Then his wife filed for divorce, and the court ordered him to pay $2,500 a month in alimony, nearly half his salary. The financial strain was brutal, but the real damage was inside. "Every check I write feels like I'm paying for my failure," he shared in an interview. "I can't sleep. I feel like I'm drowning." Daniel started therapy, costing $150 a session, just to keep his head above water. He's not alone. Divorce pushes men to the edge, and alimony is often the final straw. Studies back this up. A 2024 report from the American Psychological Association found men going through divorce report higher rates of depression and anxiety than women, with alimony payers 60% more likely to experience chronic stress. Why? It's not just the money, it's the loss of control. Men like Daniel feel trapped, tethered to an ex they can't escape, forced to fund a life they're no longer part of. On X, one guy posted, "Alimony's like a ghost haunting you every month. You're never free." Then there's Brian, a 39-year-old mechanic from Michigan, who lost more than his savings in his divorce. Ordered to pay $1,800 a month in child support and $1,200 in alimony, he could barely afford to see his kids. The court gave his ex primary custody, citing her as the stable parent, despite Brian's fight for shared parenting. "I feel like I'm not even a dad anymore," he said on X. "I'm just a paycheck." The isolation hit hard. Brian stopped seeing friends, started drinking more, and felt like the system saw him as disposable. This psychological toll fuels the divorce machine. Emotional pain makes men impulsive. They fight harder in court, racking up legal bills. Lawyers know this. Some even play on it, pushing clients to stand their ground when settling would save money and sanity. Therapy helps, but at $100 to $300 a session, it's another expense most can't afford. The system doesn't just destroy men financially, it breaks their spirit, and that's a cost you can't put a price on. Mark, a 46-year-old engineer from New York, thought he'd get a fair shake in his divorce. Married for 18 years, he and his wife both earned good money, but when she filed, the court ordered him to pay $3,000 a month in alimony and $2,000 in child support. Why? The judge said his wife had sacrificed career opportunities by working part-time, even though she chose it. Mark was stunned. "I supported her choices, now I'm paying for them forever." The system sees men as wallets, not people. Mark's story points to a deeper issue: societal biases. The divorce system was built on 1950s assumptions: men as providers, women as caregivers. Even in 2025, with women outpacing men in education, 60% of college degrees go to women, courts still lean on those outdated roles. Men are expected to pay, no questions asked. A 2023 study from the American Bar Association found judges award alimony to women in 80% of cases, even when both spouses work. Custody's worse. Men get primary custody in just 20% of cases, leaving them paying support while fighting for scraps of time with their kids. These biases aren't just in courtrooms, they're baked into our culture. The media glorifies strong women, winning big divorce settlements, while men's struggles are dismissed or mocked. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a movie about a guy crushed by alimony? On X, men's rights groups call it systemic misandry, pointing to cases like Paul, a 41-year-old chef from California. Paul's ex got the house and $2,500 a month in alimony, despite earning more than him. The judge said she deserved it, Paul raged online. Deserved what? My life? This perception of bias fuels resentment. Men feel the system assumes they're deadbeats or cash machines, not fathers or partners with their own struggles. Women, meanwhile, argue they're still disadvantaged by the gender pay gap, 82 cents to the dollar, per 2025 BLS data, and caregiving roles. Both sides have points, but for men, the financial hit feels personal, and the system doesn't seem to care. John, a 38-year-old electrician from Texas, watched the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard divorce saga unfold on X. When Heard got a $7 million settlement in 2016, part of it framed as alimony, John felt a chill. He was in the middle of his own divorce, facing $2,000 a month in alimony demands. "Seeing that made me think I'm screwed," he posted. "If a guy like Depp can't win, what chance do I have?" Celebrity divorces don't just make headlines, they shape how regular guys see their own battles, and it's not good. Take Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's 2022 split. Kanye was ordered to pay $200,000 a month in child support, plus hefty legal fees, despite their prenup. The media spun it as Kim winning, but for guys like John, it reinforced a narrative: men lose, women cash in. Or look at Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott. Their 2019 divorce gave Mackenzie $38 billion in Amazon stock, no alimony. But the sheer scale set a tone. On X, one user wrote, "If billionaires get taken to the cleaners, what hope is there for guys like me?" Celebrity cases distort reality. Their wealth cushions the blow. $200,000 a month is pocket change for Kanye, but for John, $2,000 is life-changing. These high-profile battles, amplified by the media, make men feel like the deck's stacked against them. They also inspire ex-wives to fight harder, thinking they'll score a Kim K payout, which drags out cases and spikes legal fees. The divorce industry loves the drama. It sells headlines and keeps lawyers busy. But for regular guys, it's a reminder: the system's not built for you. Robert, a 49-year-old contractor from Florida, hit rock bottom after his divorce. Ordered to pay $4,000 a month in permanent alimony, he sold his tools and truck to keep up. "I'm not living, I'm surviving," he said at a men's rights rally. Florida's old alimony laws trapped guys like Robert in lifelong payments, even if their exes could work. In 2023, Robert joined activists pushing for reform, and they won. Florida ended permanent alimony, capping payments at a few years based on marriage length. For Robert, it was too late, but he's fighting for others. "No man should lose everything for a marriage that's over," he posted on X. Reform's a battleground. States like Texas and Massachusetts have limited alimony duration and amounts, but others, like California and New York, still allow judges wide discretion. Advocates want standardized formulas, like Canada's, where alimony is based on income and marriage length, not vague lifestyle arguments. Others push for mandatory mediation to settle disputes before court, cutting legal costs. But the divorce industry resists. Less conflict means less profit. A retired lawyer on X admitted, "Alimony fights are where we make bank. Reform would kill our business." Men like Robert are pushing back, but change is slow. Women's groups argue reforms could hurt vulnerable ex-wives, especially those who sacrificed careers for kids. The debate stuck, and until society agrees on fairness, men will keep paying the price, literally. We've torn open the ugly truth about how divorce can wreck men's financial lives. Alimony that feels like a life sentence, child support that strips away your freedom, legal fees that could bankrupt a small business, and a system that seems to prey on men's wallets. We've heard from James, crushed by $3,500 a month in payments, and Ryan, who fought back and clawed his way out. In this final stretch, we're diving into how men can survive this financial meat grinder, why society keeps the system rigged, and the brutal reality of what divorce does to men. Plus, I'm hitting you with a challenge to take control and change the game. Stick with me, this is raw, real, and it's going to shake you up. Let's do this. Divorce can feel like a financial guillotine, but you don't have to let it destroy you. Men like James and Ryan face the same system you might be up against, and their stories show there's a way to fight back. James, the Ohio mechanic, saw his life unravel when he was ordered to pay $2,000 a month in alimony and $1,500 in child support after his wife blindsided him with divorce papers. The payments left him hollowed out, selling his truck and more just to stay afloat. I felt like I'd been robbed, he shared on X, his voice heavy with betrayal. I worked my whole life for my family, and now I'm the one with nothing. That pain drove James to keep fighting, but he learned the hard way. Going in blind costs you everything. Ryan, the Wisconsin carpenter, found a smarter path. When his divorce hit, with $2,800 a month in alimony and $1,500 in child support, he felt the same despair James did, like his future was being stolen. But Ryan refused to break. He stayed up nights, scouring X forums and state laws, driven by a mix of anger and hope to protect his kids' future. I wasn't going to let the system take everything, he said, determination in his eyes. By using an online platform and proving his ex's new job, he slashed his alimony in half, saving $19,200 a year. Their stories scream one truth: you can't just hope for fairness, you've got to fight for it with strategy. Here's how to survive. First, arm yourself with knowledge. Dive into your state's divorce laws. Sites like nalo.com or your local court's website lay out alimony and child support rules in plain English. Ryan saved thousands by knowing Wisconsin's modification rules. James wishes he'd done the same. Second, try mediation. It's $1,000 to $5,000 versus $20,000 to $50,000 for a courtroom war. Mediation keeps things civil and cuts lawyer profits. Third, document everything. Bank statements, pay stubs, even your ex's social media posts about their new job or lifestyle can prove they don't need that $3,000 a month. A forensic accountant, though pricey at $200 to $500 an hour, can save you years of payments. Fourth, protect your mental health. James felt like a failure, but free X communities or low-cost therapy can keep you grounded. Don't let the system break your spirit. Finally, plan for the future. If you remarry, a prenup can shield you from another hit. The system's brutal, you just have to be tougher. These tips aren't a magic fix, but they're a lifeline. James learned too late, but Ryan's fight shows you can outsmart the system if you play smart. It's about taking control, not letting the divorce industry dictate your life. Why does divorce hit men so hard financially? It's not just the courts, it's the world we live in. Society sets men up to lose, and the divorce system cashes in. James, our Ohio mechanic, felt this firsthand. He poured his soul into providing, long hours, no vacations, all to build a home for his wife and kids. When she filed for divorce, he thought the system would see his sacrifice. Instead, it saw a paycheck. The $3,500 a month in payments wasn't just a financial hit. It was a betrayal of everything he believed about fairness. I thought I was doing the right thing, he said on X, his words dripping with disillusionment. But the system doesn't care about rights, it cares about money. Our culture's to blame. We're sold the myth of men as providers, big weddings, breadwinner roles, and man up expectations. In 2025, women earn 82 cents for every dollar a man makes, per BLS data. But courts still lean on 1950s assumptions, ordering men to pay alimony in 80% of cases and child support in 88%, even when incomes are equal. Media fuels the fire. Reality shows like Divorce Court or tabloids hyping women winning big settlements make divorce a spectator sport. On X, one user vented, "The world cheers when a woman gets half a guy's life, but when a man's broke, it's just tough luck." The economic reality makes it worse. With 37% of Americans unable to cover a $500 emergency. Per 2025 Federal Reserve data, divorce isn't just a split, it's a fight for survival. Men, often higher earners, face bigger losses in asset divisions, half the house, savings, or business they built. The US's adversarial court system, unlike Canada's formula-based approach or Sweden's streamlined process, turns divorce into a war where lawyers profit. A 2024 study found contested divorces cost men an average of $25,000 more than women, thanks to alimony and custody fights. The system's not broken by accident, it's built to keep the cash flowing. So, how does divorce destroy men financially? It's a perfect storm of greed, bias, and betrayal. The $50 billion divorce industry thrives on men's pain. Alimony, like the $2,000 a month crushing James, chains men to exes who often don't need it. Child support, eating 20 to 50% of a man's income, leaves guys like Ryan struggling to see their own kids. Legal fees, $20,000, $50,000 or more, turn men's sacrifices into lawyers' paydays. The psychological toll, as James felt when he called himself a failure, breaks spirits as much as bank accounts. Societal biases, provider myths, media hype, and courts' outdated views stack the deck against men, assuming they're cash machines, not fathers or humans. Men like Ryan show you can fight back. By researching laws, using mediation, and finding support, he cut his alimony and reclaimed his life. Reforms in states like Florida, capping alimony, offer hope, but the system's still rigged. The dark truth? Divorce destroys men financially because it's designed to profit off conflict, not deliver justice. Until we demand change, clearer laws, fairer courts, less drama, men will keep paying the price. Divorce doesn't have to be a death sentence. James's pain and Ryan's fight prove you can survive, but it takes grit, smarts, and a refusal to let the system win. The power's in your hands. Divorce can feel like it's built to destroy you, but you're stronger than the system. James and Ryan face the same financial hell you might be staring down, but they show it's not over until you give up. If you're in the divorce grinder, take control. Research your laws, try mediation, document everything, and protect your mind. If you've been through it, share your fight in the comments or on X. Your story could save another guy from losing it all. And if you're just watching to learn, spread the truth. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more raw exposés like this. Let's rewrite the narrative. Divorce doesn't have to destroy men. You're tougher than the courts, the lawyers, and the biases. Fight smart, rebuild, and take back your future. Thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts below. How has divorce hit you or someone you know? Let's talk. I'll see you in the next one.